and looking at education policy under the Bush administration and now under the Obama administration, are you satisfied with what's come about?
No, it's like a doubling down on all the bad ideas from the last administration. I'm really dissatisfied, which is why, so are all these teachers. It's why they came out here on his, in the backyard of the president's for the first time in history to voice their displeasure with the direction that this policy has gone.
What's the greatest issue that you think, in terms of education policy, that President Obama has not paid enough attention to?
Well, there's not one thing. I mean, well, look, poverty underscores all of this, but in terms of I think what you're hearing a lot about today is a lot of the high stakes testing and these kind of punitive policies that blame teachers for and then cut their funding for a lot of things that for which there are other contributing factors, and then in terms of the tests themselves end up kind of driving the curriculum. I mean, if your job depends on how well these 20 kids do on a test, I mean, you're going to spend the better part of your job teaching those kids how to take that test and focusing on that test, and that doesn't promote any kind of real learning. It doesn't get the kids excited about school or about learning, and it doesn't raise a generation of critical thinkers who are going to be the ones who solve the serious problems that this generation is going to leave for them.
You say that Arne Duncan is running education like a business. What makes you think that specifically, and what do you think should be done differently?
Well, it's these guys come into it, these MBAs, they'll come in with their kind of intrinsic paternalism and just say, I'm going to apply what I know, to this issue, and because it's gotten me where I am, I've done very well, and so I'm going to, these are things, accountability and this and that, and they start running it this way, and the reality is it's not that easy. You can't just transfer from one thing to another. Like I say it this way, like I'm very successful, right, in a very competitive business, right, maybe the most competitive industry in the country, and I've got a lot of success, and I've maintained that success for a long time, right? So by any metric, I'm successful in my business, just as successful as Arne Duncan say, right? Should I design ed policy? I mean, it's totally absurd, right? So why isn't he inviting these brilliant people, the leading thinkers? I mean, this is like a who's who of education up here. They're all outside Obama's house. I mean, this has got to be, it should be pretty embarrassing for the president. These are like the greatest thinkers in education in our country. And they're so disgusted that they've come out here on like a 100-degree day to stand outside his house and say, stop what you're doing. These people need to be invited into the room and worked with. Let them be a part of this. And nobody's saying there aren't issues. Nobody's saying we can't do better. Obviously, we need to do a lot better. But you can't just cut out the teachers and the educators from that, the experts from that, from the design of that policy.